try to be kind to your in-laws. Hello, everybody. I have been thinking about family and particularly about the in-law family because a young friend of mine, a young woman, she was telling me about the partner of her sister. And through her account, I said to her, do you like the partner? And she said, oh no. And I was a bit shocked. And I said, allow me to say that to you, but I don't think that is an attitude that will help your sister. And you, being a good sister, that's what you should. You should do your best to like your in-laws. I realize that that is easier said than done, particularly when, say in my family, I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, and each of them has already had several partners. So did I. And so all of us have had to accept new partners again for several times. Now, relationships, romantic relationships, are difficult anyhow. So we should not give our siblings extra problems. We should do our best to accept their choices. It is their choice. It is not for us to criticize. It's the person they have fallen in love with. So we should try our best to get along there. Of course, we may feel sorry for the one left behind. We may think that the partner before suited them better, whatever. But we have to accept the choice our siblings made. And one of my language partners was saying to me, because you know, you meet somebody for language exchange weekly, so you talk about all kinds of things, obviously. And I was telling him something about from my family, and then he said at some point, did I understand you correctly, Britta? You're telling me about your sister-in-law. Yes. And he said, oh, well, then that was to be expected, you know. With the sisters-in-law, you don't get on well. Now, that is what experts call a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm sure you've heard about that. And if you have your doubts what it is, here is the best example for a self-fulfilling prophecy that I can think of. Just imagine. We have, and I've heard that from many other cultures, not just my own. There is this basic idea that the relationship with sisters-in-law, mothers-in-law, daughters-in-law are going to be difficult, to say the least. Now, what do you expect? You've never met the woman, but you come into the relationship with this idea of relationships between sisters and mothers-in-law are going to be difficult. What do you expect? It has to fulfill itself, that prophecy. We shouldn't be doing this. Now, another question that I've asked myself in that connection, how come that it is that whereas we all have this idea that the women don't get along on with each other, what about the men? Why don't we have the same prejudices about brothers-in-law, sons-in-law, father-in-law? Why does it only have to do with women, apparently? Because competition between men, if you ask me, is at least as big as competition between women. Only, it seems to me, that the competition between men is perhaps more at the workplace and less in the homes, where, of course, family business is mainly going to take place. And I give you an example for that too. For many years, I worked on a jury as a non-lawyer in courtrooms, and you have no idea how often I was able to witness the following. If the prosecutor and the defender were both men, there was a cockfight. There's no other word for it. A cockfight between these two, which had very little to do with the poor person who was being defended, but had a lot to do with these two men who brought their personal competition into the courtroom where it shouldn't be, that's for sure. So anyway, let's leave these prejudices behind us. Let's encounter our in-laws openly. Let's see what there is. Let's do our best to support the choices of our siblings in order to have peace at home. See you.